Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, or welcome if you are new. So, this is going to be the start of an ongoing series on my channel, one that I'm very excited about, where I'm going to be taking a look at, in my opinion, the best decade of horror, which to me is the 1980s. Um, there's a lot of movies, believe it or not, in the 80s that I haven't even seen yet, some big title names as well, and so I thought I would have this ongoing series where I basically am taking a look at each year, 1980 through 1989. So 10 parts to the overall series. And that overall series is going to be entitled 1980s Horror Movie Series. And then it's going to be like 1980 movie review, 1981 movie review, and so on. So yeah, this is the intro video to kind of tell you about the overall series as well as the individual 10-part series. So, obviously 10 years in 1980, so the individual parts are going to be taking a look at each year. And we'll be starting with 1980 here for May, June, and July. That's right, it's going to be a 3-month series. In part because I want to give myself the opportunity and the time to watch these movies, review them, let them soak in, marinate, all those type of things. I don't want to rush through like 25 movies in 1 month. I just don't think that's going to do anything justice. So I can tell you for sure that 1980 and 1981, at least for now, are going to be 3-month series separately. I'm probably going to kick off 2025 with 1981, January, February, and March. But for where we are right now, May, June, and July is going to be all about 1980. So let's just get into the nuts and bolts of what that means for this series. It is going to be an ongoing series on my channel, which means not just ongoing for 2024 and 2025, but probably for the next 5 years. Because I don't want to just do 80, 81, 82 all the way through the decade in a row, while skipping all the other series that I do, like horror anthologies, horror movie packs, things like that. I still want to have that stuff throughout the year on my channel. And I also think it's going to be better to break it up. Take a break from after doing 1980 for 3 months. Take at least a 3 or 4 month break before I do the next year and the next year. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the long haul here. As far as the individual years go, I won't be reviewing movies from those years that I've already reviewed on my channel. So something like the original Friday the 13th, The Fog, The Shining. Those are movies that I've watched and reviewed up on my channel from a previous series. So I won't be having reviews for those within this series. However, they could pop up again at the end of these series. Like when I get to the end of 1980 and I review all the movies, I'm going to do a top 10 or top 10 to top 15, depending on the year, movies of that year. So those movies that I'm not going to be reviewing with this series could certainly be mentioned, and I'll dare say some of them will be mentioned when I do my top 10, most likely top 15 for 1980. Because there's more movies that I know I'm going to be that I'm going to like and enjoy. So 3 months, 90% of those 3 months is going to be watching and reviewing horror movies that were released that year that I haven't already reviewed on my channel. And then at the end of the 3-month series, for like 1980, for example, in July here in 2024, I'll be doing a top 15. I know it's going to be 15 for 80 and 81. A top 15 horror movies of 1980 or 1981 when we get there. So that's kind of how that's going to work. I will say that I'm not going to be watching and reviewing every single horror or thriller movie that came out in each year. That would take me forever. But definitely the well-known ones with the big titles. So just want to throw that out there. As I said, each year review series length will depend on how many movies there are that I have to watch and review for the first time on my channel. So 1980, I already know I have about 25 to 28 horror movies from that year that I either have in my collection or I have access to on a streaming service that I haven't reviewed on my channel and that are big enough title that I need to watch and review them. Therefore, 3 months, you're going to be looking at about 9 movies each month. So about every 3 or 4 days, I'll have a new review coming out for a 1980 horror movie, and then 81, 82, and so on once I get there. Um, I will let you know prior to each month exactly how many movies there's going to be for that year and for each month. Excuse me, I'm clearing a frog. I still fighting a little bit of a cold here. Um, some years will be a top 10 horror movies of the year, and then as I said, 1980 and 81 will be a top 15 because there's just a lot more movies in the first 3 years of the 80s than there are as we go. So it is going to vary by top 10 to top 15 somewhere in there, and I may still have some honorable mentions as well. We're just going to have to kind of play it by ear. Um, and then, of course, once I have gone through and reviewed and ranked all 10 years on their own, I will be doing an ultimate top 25 horror movies of the decade, of the 1980s, ranking in how it is in my opinion. So yeah, an ultimate top 25 horror movie ranking of the 1980s. But that's going to be a few years down the road because, as I said, doing 10 years, this is gonna go at least for 3 or 4 years minimum. Um, let's see, what are my other notes that I want to say? I will say too, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I will be watching some lesser known movies from these years in the background, like off of YouTube. So like the 1980, I have The Awakening, I have Eaten Alive, some lesser known movies, but I still have access to on YouTube. So I'm just going to be watching them in the background and not necessarily doing a review on my channel for them, unless they stand out to me either being really bad to where I can get a good review out of it, or really good, surprisingly good, where it's an underrated movie that people should watch. So just keep that in mind. Those might pop up as well as the ones that I've already got scheduled to watch for each year. Um, let's see. Yeah, there will potentially be a couple horror movies for each year that I will be streaming to watch and then review that I don't currently have in my collection, and I don't want to bankrupt myself in the short term to go out and buy every single available movie from each year. So I'm going to try to stream some of them if I can. But I do have a lot for 1980. I think there's only two that I'm streaming, though, not counting the ones on YouTube that I found, the lesser known ones. Um, so just want to put that out there. For example, um, Funeral Home and The Hearse are both from 1980. Those are movies that I don't currently own on physical media, but I will be watching and reviewing on my channel as I'll be streaming those off YouTube. So just putting that out there. As I said, my rankings at the end of each year series can include other movies from that year that I'm not reviewing during the series as part of my series because I've already reviewed them for previous series. And a lot of them most likely will be included in that top 10 to top 15 ranking. For 1980, as I said, we're looking at 9 to 10 different horror movies per month over the course of 3 months and all. So May, June, and July of 2024 is going to be all 1980 horror movies reviews, and then a ranking at the end. Ranking will be around July 30th of this year. I'm hoping to do at least 1981 and 1982 in 2025, so next year. Like I said, I'll be opening the year with 1981 and then probably doing 1982 towards the summer. I might even try to fit 1983 into 2025, but no promises. As I said, this is going to be an ongoing series that goes for probably close to 5 years. Just because, as I said, I want to give myself a chance to watch without rushing and being able to soak it all in. So yeah, that's what we're looking at there. I will be watching through streaming. Oh, I already said that. Lesser known movies and only bringing them up. The Godsend, The Awakening, Eaten Alive are some examples for 1980 that I'll be watching in the background. But only bringing up as a review on my channel if they stand out to me, either good or bad. Going forward, these individual year review series will be titled 1980s Horror Movie Series. That's the umbrella term. And then it's going to be like 1980 Review and whatever that movie is. So 1981 Review, whatever that movie is, and so forth. The reviews will be dropping every 3 to 4 days on my channel for 1980 over the 3 month span. So those are just some bigger item notes that I had to kind of get out here for this series. I'm really excited about this series. I hope you guys are too. 1980, like I said, is going to be May, June, and July here. About 9 movies per month reviewed. 27 or so, 28 overall at the end of the 3 months. And then my top 15 1980 horror movie ranking. And then next year it'll be 1981 reviews and ranking. 1982. So you guys get the picture, I think. So I'm doing this because it allows me to really get caught up with all the 1980s horror movies, all the big titles as well as the smaller titles. I can get them up on my channel. And yes, these will include the slasher genre, which of course was the biggest one in 1980s. But yeah, it's just going to be a really fun series. And as I said, it's not going to stop my other series. After July of this year, then I'm gonna have another series of horror anthologies. I'm gonna have another series of horror movie packs, individual franchise reviews series like Paranormal Activity and others, and other things that I normally do, like TV series that are either thriller or horror. So I am breaking this up. It is an ongoing series, and yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything for this intro video. So you can expect my first 1980 horror movie review to be up in a couple of days here, probably around May 3rd or so. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You got to tune in. I have sort of randomly scheduled them, so they don't just go in alphabetical order, release date order, or anything like that. I more or less just pointed to one and said, I'll start with this one, this kind of back and forth just to change it up and make it more fun. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at, guys. If you have any questions, you can comment down below on if I missed anything in terms of these, the overall series as well as the individual 1980 year series. Go ahead and put your questions or comments down below. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of these great 1980s reviews or rankings as we go, as well as my other, of course, horror series that I'm still going to have on my channel. So with that being said, I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for watching this intro video, and as always, stay scared. Bye.